welcome to the Tikkun HaKlali Festival. This is basically this project that I've been working on and bringing 10 different artists, both visual artists for each sort of cover. So it has like this visually appealing element to it. And then artists like Eviatal Banai, Zusha, Shir David Gadassi, they're all going to take one of the Tehillim, one of the prakim from the Tikkun HaKlali, and turn it into this beautiful, beautiful thing. So I'm so honored to have you be a part of this. And yeah, I would love to hear just your personal story, maybe with Tikkun HaKlali. And of course, we could talk about the Torah of Rabbeinu and how it's affected you. And, you travel the world talking about it. So I would love to hear just some on Tikkun HaKlali.
I mean, between you and me, the first time I found Rabbi Nachman's teachings, I found a book called Advice. Book Advice basically told me sexual immorality leads to poverty. So that really hit me hard. I had no idea how one was connected to the other. And then it spoke about how the rectification for that would be Tikkun HaKlali. Tikkun HaKlali basically, at the time in Miami, I was living not the best lifestyle. Involved with the wrong, not exactly the shidduch type of girls, etc. And I was in a very, very dark depression, just very anxious, depressed. Nothing was going my direction. And it felt like I had bad luck. And then ever since I started reading Tikkun HaKlali and I followed Rabbi Nachman's advice, my life completely changed. These 10 Psalms, basically what they do is they put back, they rectify most sins sexually. And today, the whole world is struggling with this area. Back then, Rabbi Nachman says 75% of the world is struggling with it. Today, I would tell you 95% of the world, 98% of the world is struggling with it. So the fact that you made a festival around this, it's so important because this is really the key to everything. If we can fix the foundation, which is the yesod, we can clean up our vessels. Otherwise, all we're doing is trying to just alter consciousness instead of get to a higher consciousness where we no longer have to do those things. And obviously, the Rabbi Nachman's teachings got me to a connection with God. The reason why also Tikkun HaKlali is so important is because there's certain sins that don't necessarily disconnect you permanently, totally. But the sexual blemish that permanently disconnects you. It makes you lose your spark. It makes you lose your godliness. It makes you lose. You can eat certain things that are not kosher. It's not the end of the world. You can eat certain things you could do. It's not the end of the world. But this one, it makes you lose your spark. This is why a malik specifically represents taking the weak ones, the organs, and throwing them up and says, you see, this doesn't mean anything. So to show you how, the evil inclination today just wants us to cool off, go into culture, and lose our connection with God. And Tikkun HaKlali, these 10 Tehillim, are a general remedy. It's a powerful remedy. I've given myself out hundreds of these. And they're the fundamental gateway into having a connection with God. It's an antidepressant. Even women also have, they have residual damages from certain relationships. They get certain sparks. When you have relations with somebody, you're actually downloading their head. You're downloading their energy. And once, the result is, after these relationships, you can see people just get into a very dark depression. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of this. And this also helps make a general rectification for everything.
So you see it sort of as a refresher, like it's refreshing it back because there's like the 10 ma'amalot, the way that God created the world. And then when we're doing this, it's kind of like opposing that. And this is bringing us back into alignment. Like how do you view it as once you're going through this process, right? What does it actually do?
I mean, it actually puts the seed that got spilt back into its place. It doesn't allow the klipa to exist anymore. So once a person does masturbation, spills the seed, there's an actual klipa. There's a body that doesn't have a soul. So that body goes to the person who created it. So what the Tikkun HaKlali does is it puts it back into its place. It captures it back to its place. Captures that negative energy. And we know klipot, the klipa is just a husk. They're responsible for brain fog. They're responsible for anger, ruach sa'ara, which is a sadness, a depression, aish, which is a flashing fire, there's impulses, and another one is a great cloud. These are the three klipot from Yeheskel's vision. So this is exactly what happens when people spill the seed. They feel depressed. They feel, brain fog. They just feel like they're not themselves. They feel like something took over them. And the genius of Rabbi Nachman to work on this. I mean, he lost a child because of the Tikkun HaKlali, because it came out into the world. I mean, we need to understand the power of what Rabbi Nachman did to come out with it. How the whole world was against him, and he came out with this because he knew this would be an issue in generations, that people would fall into depression and fall into sexual immorality. And hello, what are we talking about today? It's not this. Rabbi Nachman was already generations, decades ahead. I feel like when I went to LA, I told him I'll come back if you get 40 guys to do a 40-day challenge. It's like I felt like the prayer of Sodom and Gomorrah, and don't destroy the city if there's 50 people that say it. Don't destroy the city if there's 40 people, but you could see the Taliban, especially in the whole world. But LA and areas like that, you're definitely onto something because you can change people's lives through this. It's you change a person's breath, you change his life. There's no question about it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually got this at your talk in LA, this version of the
Look at that. Yeah. I've given out so many of those. I've given Rabbi Kramer, the Breath of Org, how they explained it. And again, even the Tehillim themselves, the Hallelujah fixes the Yalala, Maskil fixes the cloudiness. Each one has a specific remedy for this issue. I mean, there's no single event that I go, I give this out. And again, it's the problem is when we get into the sadness and we fall into sexual immorality, even if our soulmate comes up and shows up, we don't know who it is. We're confused, with the confusion, the loneliness it's brutal.
Yeah, it reminds me, Rabbi Nachman says that like the shefa, the blessings are coming at all times, but this is the way that we could perfect the keli, like our actual vessel for it, so that we could actually hold on to that vessel, because it comes out like undifferentiated. We have to make it come out to a way that we need, but also be able to actually contain and sustain the blessing.
Most important also is you have to understand that we're masculine, and that we're supposed to be the givers to the feminine energy. We're supposed to give the light to the woman. And the problem is when we become the opposite, when we become the females, because now we're the receivers. So the person, is having relations with if his relations are only just to gratify himself, his relationships are only, or God forbid, watching porn, he's becoming the female, he's becoming the receiver. So he cannot draw shefa, because now he's in the feminine role, not the masculine role. And you see this today, and rampant in society, where nobody knows who. There's a major confusion. Relationships are a disaster. Marriages are falling apart, and Rabbi Nachman had the solution for it. We have to go back to the Kedusha.
It's a dark time now, and we could see that it's to awaken. Where the thing that came out of that is this achdut, and these people realizing, just everybody realizing that we have to take this seriously. We have to return to the spiritual. When we see it in the physical, it's supposed to wake up that element.
Even if you just hear it like Hamas energy means taking something by force. Hamas means violently taking. So Rabbi Nachman tells us that Hamas also, this concept of Hamas is taking, is like it came from Parshas Noach of spilling the seed. The earth was filled with Hamas. So it's all connected to the what we're dealing with. And what were they? Rapists and animals and all that. I mean, to the degree that you directly fix this area, you'll grow spiritually. Bottom line, I can guarantee it to you. And I have, thank God we have, tons of proof. I've been doing a podcast for years already, and the evidence, the science I have behind it is just incredible.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I meet people, thank God, all the time that have been transformed from just listening to your podcast, being a part of the things that you're doing, and it's really like so amazing. So I'm sure you have, so many teachings, obviously, that resonate, and you speak about them. Is there one that sort of comes to mind that, jumps out, just a Rabbi Nachman teaching that is so applicable for everybody and for right now? I know, whatever comes to mind first.
There's so many teachings. I think I like this concept of lesson 61 in the second half of the Kutamar, where Rabbi Nachman says God is above time and space. All basically all imagination is an absence of consciousness. If you think about today, in the emotional level of anxiety, depression, it's all this is imagination. Anxiety is imagination of the future, depression is imagination of the past. That means when we're aware, when we have that awareness, our job is to constantly grow in awareness by when consciousness exists, imagination is over. And to the degree that we grow in consciousness, imagination cannot hold us because God's above time and space. And Rabbi Nathan tells us that when time and space, when a person is not present, his imagination is going to take over and basically take over his world, take over his life. And you could see here, the solution is not to avoid anxiety or to avoid depression, is to grow. Because the more you grow, the less you have things to think about. Busy people always get things done. They always say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Because they don't have time to think, oh, what am I doing? Who's talking about me? Who's this? Why is my life like this? To the extent that we grow in spirituality, we grow in both learning, in a higher level of consciousness, then our world's complete. So that's one of the Torahs. I mean, I almost memorized almost the whole book. It's just the whole book is just it's fire of fire. There's so many teachings. Every teaching is a world of its own. It's like you can get into Rav Nachman's teachings and you could just see the world through his teachings. Like I don't see the world. I see his teachings and I put the Rav Nachman's lens and I see the world.
Yeah.
I see the world through.
Like when you have kids. Especially when I'm traveling, I'm always seeing things as I would imagine my kids are seeing them. So I'm like, I wish they were here right now, and so it's that element when you're like learning the Likutei Moharan. And that's what it says, like when you're doing a lishma, like for the true sake, for the full alignment, then you're actually moving through life and it's illuminating and it's more clear because you're seeing it in that way for sure. And also what I love about Likutei Halachot, where Rab Natan clues us into Shulchan Aruch, like the first halakha, the first law that we're learning, Gedale Fenster. Like you said, it's like, with a busy person, people ask me like, how do you get so many different things done in all these different spaces? I kind of, as you were saying, it's like, I don't overthink any of the things. I don't let the anxiety and the sitraka, I try not to let it come in and just stay in the flow state and not question every single thing and just keep going. What I love of Nachman's Torah on that first halakha is that you have to be proactive and awaken yourself, awaken the dawn, the shachar, the darkness. You have to be proactive like a lion to be in that alignment with God. And it's not allowing like, oh, what's the vibe? How do I feel today? And then letting that change your mood. No, like go in, already claim it like a lion, be proactive and say, no, today is going to be amazing. And I'm going to be in alignment. And you're just in that way. And you awaken the dawn. You bring the light into the darkness. And it's like, this is, sort of the through line through all of Rabbeinu is this way to just shift into that consciousness that you were talking about and bring that light at all times. It's really incredible.
Living inside out, not outside in.
Yeah.
As Rav Pinson says, Rav Pinson has the whole book on equanimity. Basically, when we live with equanimity, we're living through inside in, inside out, not outside in. Like, recently I just decided to take off social media just because, you could see how much, you could see your energy when you're in a high state. You get dragged in. You get sucked in, and when your energy is up, we lose focus. We lose this. So it's time. You've written 2-3 books, right?
5 books now, but yeah, the 5 books.
I haven't written.
The 5 books of the Torah.
I haven't written one book. Okay, I run businesses and do my podcast, but I recognize there was a need more for me to be. Got to be more grounded. And take my teachings, got to move to the next level.
Well, I love what you sent me, and we could talk about that after because I have a bunch of ideas. But yeah, I mean, it's out of this darkness. Basically, I lost my ex-wife's mom passed away. It was her 1-year yahrzeit on Purim, and that was when I wrote the first of our Torah. And my chavrusa was like, "Oh my God, the love and connection to your mom, it's so beautiful." And I was like, "That's not my mom. That's my ex-wife's mom." Excellent. And he was like, "Why'd you get a divorce?" She was so incredible. And then unfortunately, my mom passed away, not long after that. And that was when I devoted basically, 2 years of my life. But I didn't know it was going to be a book. I was just like, okay, I got to write these things. People are connecting. It's bringing light. And then, it just kind of kept growing from there organically. And then eventually one of my friends was like, this isn't one book. This is 5 books, you know, because the amount,
Amazing.
I guess, the length of each thing. So that was how it happened. But
I saw your
yeah.
interview with Deepak Chopra. It was great. It was really great. You had a great interview with Deepak Chopra. Like, you spoke about lesson 33 and the Totafot and all that. I love it. Great concept.
Thanks. Yeah, you don't understand. When I see you speak, I'm like, for my whole life, it was this big ball of fear, you know, and I just never interfaced with it. I would always say no. And then when I wrote these books, you know, I realized I can't be an author that doesn't speak. So the only way to flip that is just to continuously say yes. And then you can shift and realize all these stories that we're telling ourselves are completely false. And there's no truth to it. So for that Deepak talk, like I was nervous for so long before that, because this was still in the phase where I wasn't really public speaking and even video.
It was a great speech. Honestly, it was a great, the flow was great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I tried to move out and just let Rabbeinu and Hashem just kind of flow through, and then it kind of worked out. Amazing. Yeah. Any last thoughts? We can wrap up. But super appreciate you being a part of this. It's amazing.
I mean, you know, listen, you know, we speak about the constant. You know, last week we spoke about Yaakov. You know, we're fighting with the Esau's angel, and the struggle is Torah right now. The struggle is Torah. The whole world wants to push into culture. The whole world. And that's why he attacked Yaakov. He attacked him in the hip. You know, he attacked him. He basically, the evil inclination. If we don't have Torah in our lives, just a matter of time, we end up losing everything. But the fact that you're bringing Torah, and I believe our job, me, you, whoever, Joseph Rosenfeld, we need to change the language. We need to change the language and get people interested in it again. You know, I feel like the Torah needs to be relabeled to this generation, so they can understand it on a conscious level. Not to, they're thinking of it, they're not thinking about it the right way. So that's what today, I think that's our mission today, is to really, which is less than 30, is to take the teachings from the other side, that originally the teachings went directly to us, but unfortunately we didn't see the worthiness in that. So they went to the other side. We have to bring it back. That's really the mission. That's our mission today. Bring people back. 100%. Bring people back. Bring people. Why are people listening to the Jewish? Let them listen to a Jewish podcast. Let them get empowered by a Jewish podcast. Why are people getting empowered always by other people? Why are we not listening to Jewish podcasts? And this is why I said it's time to flip the switch. Time to get the customers back. Time to get the customers back, and thank God we're doing it. We're doing it, and we're getting massive results.
100%. Thank you for everything you do. This is such an honor.
My pleasure. Same. I know you're learning with Dave Pack. I heard you're learning with Dave Pack. I heard.
Yeah. He hits me all the time. I said, just come over. But yeah. He's great.
I told him he should be a glue to you. He should. I said, you know your stuff. He should not seven ishma. You should listen and accept. How's that?
100%.
Beautiful job, my friend.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Have a great day.
All right, Shabbat Tov. You too.
You too. God bless. Bye-bye.